Good evening, folks. Welcome to Live CNC with Javi, chatting with Javi, whatever you want to call it. I'm here tonight doing some more soldering. Next week, I'll be up and abouts in a different part of the country, so you'll see me from there. Good morning, Clyde. How are you? Or good evening, rather. Let's see here. I am getting ready to solder a few more of these wonderful LM2596s, these power supplies, because I must. Good evening from the north. Well, good evening from the south. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's go ahead and tin them all first. I'm getting ready. I've got everything packed and ready to load into the car. 1,200 miles north of me. That's not that far. Let's see, it's 700 to Atlanta. And the rest is just a hop, skip, and a jump away. How are you, Dave? How's everything? Got to remember tonight. I'll probably update the build website because I am getting ready to head up to the manufacturing plant, as I call it. My other workbench, and I get a lot more done there. Peace and quiet. Nobody to interrupt you. No distractions. How are you, Paul? How's it going? So, what have you guys been up to last couple days? Anything interesting? And again, if you haven't heard, the new show will begin probably in a couple weeks' time. And I'm going to start doing some CNC topics. It'll be a bit more formal than this. This is completely informal. It'll be somewhat educational, hopefully. And I'll be coming up with topics and for the beginning and advanced CNCer. What kind of show? Well, it'll be like this, except not like this. I mean, the same format, and I'll have guests from time to time. Very similar to Dave's show in style. Well, not really either. It'll be a CNC show, and I'll have different topics from. I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. How you price your items, things like that are beneficial. how to, the basic stuff for beginners like feeds and speeds or clamps, all the old topics, and then I'll have quite a few projects. Hopefully, I'll come up with some projects, and so each week, each each month will be it'll be a weekly show. Each month, I'll probably have a couple projects, and whether it's a cornhole board or something else. And that was my cousin. He'll probably be joining us on the in the panel somewhat. Yep, a live show. It'll be a live show. Live with as much. Well, it'll be live, but I will have. I'll have show and tells. I'll have the occasional show and tells because I know you guys enjoy a good show and tell. It'll be. I'll have. I have the occasional scripts. Um, Sorry, folks, trying to answer an important message here. Give me 30 seconds here. Ready? That's over with. So, yeah, a lot of the stuff is. I mean, I know my demographic, and we don't really. Very few of us. I mean, we're going to get a lot of call for business advice or whatever, but frankly, CNC, I'll be completely honest with you guys, is does not make a good business model. I mean, it does and it doesn't. It does if you have a large industrial machine and you're making cabinets, and even then, not much profit in it. There are many other professions that you'd better spend your time doing. CNC is more than anything else, it is a hobby profession. Not exclusively, of course. I mean, the whole industry is CNC out there and they're making money, but for the type of people that I have, that for the type of for our community, for the sake of our community, it's hobby. It's hobby CNC is all it is because many of us, most of us, are over the age of 50. Say 90% of us, and we are. Let's see which one's positive, which one's negative. Can barely tell with these things. Sorry. There we go. Blue toward me, positive. Okay. Um, yeah. So I wish I could. Yeah, it's going to be a hobby show. A lot of it is basically stuff that it's mostly entertainment. A lot of it is stuff that you know already, but it always helps to repeat it. You know, um, there are certain there are certain uh, many of us know about feeds and speeds. Many of us already know and are very comfortable with our own little style of. And again, I'll use these two examples because they're the most popular of clamping system or whatever. But it never hurts to talk about all of them because sometimes people are so stuck in their own little style that they don't open their eyes to possibly another thing. Nothing is new. Nothing is new out there. Just so you know. But there's a lot of stuff to learn for people that are new to the woodworking. And even though nothing is new, it's I mean I've been a woodworker for years. I've been an electronics and computer guy for years. I used to do mechanics as well. No, I've been just about everything you could under the sun, like many of us. And I don't think I have ever used a plane in my entire life properly to either chamfer or to knock off something. No, chisels. Yeah, usually I use a chisel to, but or well, spoiled with routers and planers and joiners, but never a plane. So there's something that while I know very well how to use a plane, I've never used one. So it's one of those things. No experience whatsoever with the plane. And so no matter how well-rounded or knowledgeable any of us are, there's always something new to under the sun to learn. Whether it's how to wire a CNC or or a new project. A lot of my show is going to be uh, coming up with different ideas for projects and stuff. One of my favorite things is um, I really enjoy Izzy Swan. For those of you that have seen, made a table. It's kind of portable, but it's heavy because it's so compact. It's made out of plywood and it folds out where four people can sit on it. It comes with chairs and stuff. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. It is the coolest little contraption, and it's made by. It's kind of like think of a transformer. Any things like that. Those are the kind of things that I find fascinating. Practical, useful tools, and if I can, there's never enough of those. If I can come across more of those and put them on in the show, I will. I will, plain and simple. You know, particularly if they could be done on the CNC. I'm always open for subjects, so you guys, what do you want to see in a show? Or maybe perhaps a better question is, what do you Google on YouTube? What do you search on YouTube? What have you been what is your latest rabbit hole? And sometimes, I mean, I have a buddy of mine, a friend of my wife's, that she's gotten into, vinyl cutting. Most of you know this. I was a sign guy for 12 years, and vinyl cutting is vinyl cutting, weeding. I mean, it's all second nature to me at this point because I've done so much of it that it's just it's boring to me. Boring, boring. I guess boring is the word, but it is. It's something that it's like construction. It's something that I've done all my life and I'm very familiar with. So when somebody comes to me with that they just did it and they're so excited by it and stuff, I I don't dismiss it. But I help them as much as I can. I teach them new things. That's the point I was trying to make. I'm sorry, my mind is on the soldering, and so I'm a little all over the place today. But the what I was saying earlier is, not everybody knows everything, and sometimes, if you're going down a rabbit hole, and I've already been there, I'd be happy to share my tips and tricks, and vice versa. I'll probably be sharing with you some of my rabbit holes and asking you guys questions. No, not the Cam Master. Cam Master is a great machine, but it'll be mostly based around the Gatton, if anything, because the Cam Master is not a hobby CNC. It's it's um it's not a do-it-yourself hobby CNC. It's a very expensive industrial machine. So uh, my size is more of a hobbyist because it's 2 foot by 3 foot. But if you compare, say, an Avid, which is probably top of the line hobby, top of the line do it yourself, I would call it, compared to, say, a Cam Master of the same size, you could probably buy three Avids for one Cam Master because they run about 20 to 30,000. They're made out of solid steel. Those things coming in a truck. You need a crane to move them. I mean, I'm talking a 4x8 or something like that. So those are industrial machine. I have not touched one part, tightened one bearing or anything on my machine. But for the price that I paid for my Cam Master, I could build 4, 5, 6 Gattons, and you know, and frankly, uh, the Gatton is a much more enjoyable machine in many ways. I mean, they both they yeah. But yeah, in general, I probably will rarely be mentioning any machines because anything I do on the show will be for all machines. Uh, but I could bring some back on the 5th. Period. It's a lot easier to talk text than it is to type it. So yeah, it'll be a lot more of a scripted show. It'll be hopefully more entertaining. I'll have some stuff prepared. I used to do the CNC with Javi show years back, and I'll probably incorporate a little bit of that. So there'll probably be some Vectric, some VCarve instructions, how to do stuff. Because I mean, I always and I still will steer people toward Mark, but Mark himself has said it. We both have two different styles, and even if I did some of the, part of the show was Vectric training, I fly through the stuff. So, I'll go through this and I'll tell you this is how to do this and this and this and this. If you want to learn it on your own, pause the video or that's it. Mark is very detailed and very step by step and slower. I'm just like, I go through, this is what I did. I did this and I did this and I did this. Now let's go to this and let's go to this. I'm not going to go that fast, but you get the idea. I take it at a different pace. And some people enjoy that. Some people prefer that. Hang on a second. I'll get it for you tonight after my live, period. So some people enjoy that. And, I just I got to be honest with you. Some time ago, the property came up is what happened. I had I was doing the show, and then I was in the middle of I was doing the show, and I was doing the Make Room for Javi series, which basically was me clearing out a bunch of my organizing all my rooms, trying to make space for my woodworking that was all in warehouses. And so what happened was, for those of you that that haven't watched the Make Room for Javi series, what happened was they got to a point where I threw away quite a bit of garbage, useless stuff, and some stuff not so useless, but space is money, inventory is money. And after I threw away everything that I could, I still didn't have enough room. And I've got 4 garage spaces full of stuff, and didn't have enough room. So I ended up, I talked to my wife and said, listen, we've been wanting to move for a while for our retirement. Let's go ahead and do a search. And we searched. We found a nice place in Central Florida. And bottom line is that all of a sudden has taken up all my time. It was the next few months was landscaping, and I'm not going to pay somebody $10,000 to clear a bunch of land when I pretty much enjoy it. I love being out there, and so that's those of you that have seen my series know know all of this already. And yeah. But now I've gotten to the point, at least there's a lull, if you will. I've reached the point in my I reached the point where now I can comfortably, I have enough time to do a show and still keep the. I've got everything organized. I'm working on the uh, the plans and everything. What's unfortunate is something happened recently, and I won't share the details, but something happened recently that um, has forced me to accelerate my plan. I was taking my time. I was taking care of all the landscaping first as a gesture to my neighbors so they wouldn't have to see the construction, you know, and for some privacy. And now, due to certain circumstances, um, that's no longer the case. Now I'm going ahead with the thing and the landscaping. I don't know when, if ever, it will happen, but the neighbors, unfortunately, I mean, most of them don't care. This is just for because I like to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But at this point, it is what it is. Now they will be seeing a for the next few years, because I have a number of projects. They will see, maybe for the next couple years, they'll see some work, a lot of work. Okay, so I got 3 of these, so I got to get 3 of those. So if anybody has any questions, feel free, ask away. I'm always happy to answer. So, and the bottom line is, I haven't really. I've decided on a new show. But I am not sure exactly the details of the format yet. I haven't fully decided on the details of the format, so we shall see. We shall see. I want to make it as interesting as possible, but you know, you know how that goes. Yeah, the one thing I've seen from the world of YouTube, at least the way I approach it, is I need to know something, I search for it. Other than that, there's probably 3 or 4 people I watch, and it's mostly because they're very professional as far as their woodworking, and they're interesting, or they have a story. Like there's a couple I watch who are in West Virginia who are building a cabin, and they've been doing so. They bought their property when I bought mine, but my timeline is not to move in until 2022 because my girls are still in school. My youngest is still in school. One's already out. So, in short, these people basically, they're kind of doing exactly the same thing I'm doing, except extremely more rustic. I mean, I'm in more of a citified country area, and while there are nowhere near the loopholes and regulations that there are in Miami. In fact, I don't know any city that except Miami Gardens, which is a municipality. I remember I've worked in construction for well, let's see, 18 years officially, and then and then on and off with my father and my brother, who are both general contractors as well. Uh, Another 15 years easily. My dad's still active, working, and he is 77. He's going on his 55th year as a GC. He's grandfathered in for roofing. That's how long he's been a contractor. And lately, that's all he's been doing is roofs. Anyway, um, so sorry, let me concentrate on this thing here, or I don't want a bad solder to happen. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. I mean, the chat room's there. And or comments. But so like I was saying, this particular couple, see, I'm used to Miami regulate. Okay, so I'll tell you about Miami Gardens because that's an interesting story always. When I worked with my father, well, or even on my own, when I was doing construction in various parts of the city, I got a state certified general contractor's license. So we would anywhere. I mean, we're any one of the back then 27 different municipalities, cities in Miami-Dade County, because there are 27 cities in the county, um, incorporated cities, and then you have the unincorporated area of Dade County. Well, Miami-Dade County, whatever. They changed the name a few years back. I still call it Dade. So then, while there were some, Dade County itself was probably the nicest governing body to work with, and I'm beginning to see that Lake County is well even nicer, but Miami Gardens, oh my goodness, there was this little, I don't want to use the B word or the C word to describe this one particular green-eyed, I would call her a gatekeeper, but she ran she there was it was a very small town, and because she was in charge, she had an attitude toward every single person, and nothing would get done in that city. Oh, there were complaints right and left, but I don't know. She must have been somebody's niece or something, or somebody's you know lover or something. Because have a good one, Marcello. But it was she was a nightmare. She was a nightmare. Anytime you went in to get a permit there, anytime, if there was nobody there, you'd still be waiting 2.5 hours to get a permit. I'm one for patience, but wow, and I've waited hours before, but it's understandable if you've got a huge line like in Miami-Dade County when it was at its busiest. I would wait in lines behind, I don't know, probably 30 to 50 people, you know, of varying disciplines. The zoning line was always smaller. There's usually an average of about 6 to 10 people there at the peak time, but the building line, they had 19 windows open, and it was still ridiculous. Um, you know, but yeah, it was a great uh it was very beneficial place. You had a notary up in the second floor. So anytime a contractor needed to file a notice of commencement or a release of lien, it was right there. It was super handy. Take a number. It was a take a number system, and they went there. They gave and they were also the people that handled the contractor licensing. So when I got my contractor's license, I had to go up there with the picture, with the paperwork, and everything, just to. Oh, and that's another funny story. I don't know if you call it funny or not, but so I paid $240. Now I'm already licensed. All right, I'm already licensed. I took my continuing education, my test, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and I'm licensed with the state of Florida. And then they come in and say it's $240 for the Miami-Dade fee, and then it's $240 for there was another fee, and it was like I'm paying $700 for something that you know that most cities recognize. This was again. I want to clarify. This one is actually the painting contractor's license, so it's not the GC license. That was a different story. That one, state certified GC, you don't have a problem with the county with that, as long as the DBPR has you listed. Now, in order to work in the county, then you do have to have occupational business tax, and well, it is what it is. So anyway, so I've got some businesses up there, and I plan to move and live up there nice and comfortably for my retirement years. Found a nice peaceful area where supposedly nobody bothers you. I mean, I put a lot of work into it. I got an offer the other day for five times what I paid for it. I told them they could go suck eggs. Well, I didn't actually, I paraphrased it. Have a good one, Chuck. Have a good evening. But basically, when you find something that's, I searched. I searched for a long time, and I found something, a diamond in the rough, as it were, And then I alone, and that's a beautiful feeling. Well, with help of my cousins from time to time, have basically polished the diamond. So it's a gorgeous little place, and pretty soon I'm going to build myself a nice little house there. Not so little. I'm going to be paying the county plenty of taxes, or rather impact fees, because, well, for those of you that don't know what, yeah, the show is going to be weekly, Dave. For those of you that don't know what impact fees are, if you've ever bought a house or if you've ever built a house, impact fees are when you build a house or have an addition there is a specific impact. This is for Florida. There's a lot of those. A lot of your states have the income tax, have the state income tax. And Florida has no state income tax. As so basically, we pay higher in certain other fees. One of them is the impact fees, which the largest impact fee is the school board. That's a huge part of it. We're talking it could be anywhere between $8,000 and $12,000 just for impact fees for a school for an average size or a little larger than average size house. Now, impact fees basically means, I mean, it makes sense. You have a vacant lot that has no impact on resources in the community. No one's living on it, so there's no school, there's no fire, there's no nothing is needed or very low impact. All of a sudden, you stick a house there and a family of a house of a certain square footage. That creates an impact. Garbage, uh, 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 all the county resources, you see? So that is what an impact fee is. Uh, and that's part of the permit process. So there's the permit fees, and then there's the big ones, which is the impact. Now, if I were to have built let's say, a 3,000 square foot house where there was existing a 3,000 square foot house, then I would pay no impact fees because there would not be a change. Even if I destroyed the other house and built a new one, it makes no difference because the county's already geared up for that particular set of variables. But, well, in the case of a vacant lot and then going to, well, and there's a lot of fees there. A lot of fees. Hey, Big D, how's it going? Good to see you. I'm definitely looking forward to the new show. I will let you guys know pretty soon about Javi Unboxed, where and when to find me. And like I said, I'm always up for new topics, and it'll be formal. I mean, it won't. It'll be a more formal show than this one. I mean, this one just me gabbing about anything as I'm soldering, as I'm enjoying myself here. This is just a little hobby of mine. So, yeah. Like I was saying, I was watching this couple from West Virginia build their home, and the place that they have it's a lot more rural, so they're a lot more laid back than where I'm building, and certainly more laid back than where I live now. Um, that's the beautiful thing. I'll tell you one thing. That's the beautiful thing about coming from a big city uh, to a smaller town. Well, far less bureaucracy. Far less bureaucracy. I don't care how bureaucratic they think they are, they're not. There's the level of bureaucracy and nepotism is existent everywhere. And I'm not saying just government. I'm not saying big in big everywhere. Anybody that's ever gotten a job as a favor from a family member or someone they knew, I'd classify that as a little bit of nepotism. It's that old saying, it's who you know. You know, my cousin um, is very tied into the local politics in up there, which is another reason why I'm moving up there because I got a lot of friends and I got a lot of cousins. My grandfather had a sister, and she had 13 kids. They all got married. They all had at least 5 kids. Most of them live up there. And there's a few close cousins I have in particular that have some extremely close ties, political ties and government ties. So, you know, everything I'm doing is legal and by the book. But if I find that they are rewriting the book, then, well, I have a little story about Sweetwater. And for those of you that ever have heard Eloy, our fellow woodworker, talk about Sweetwater and the nightmare that is Sweetwater, I am overjoyed. And now I can talk about it because I have nothing to do with them. See, if it's a wonderful experience, the first thing I'll be telling you is how wonderful the experience is. And I'm pretty good when it comes to, I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to dealing with government. I believe in authority. I follow every rule, and or try to. Sometimes they make me aware of a rule that I didn't know, and well, then I correct. But the point is, this one city, Sweetwater. Oh my God, what a nightmare! We had a place, and not that we lived in. It's just we owned a place in Sweetwater. 45 years. That building has not been changed, touched, or anything in the slightest. All of a sudden, out of the blue, code compliance comes by, sends a picture, and says, this addition is illegal. It was built. I mean, the addition was built. No excuse for the law, and it was illegal. But everybody on that block has an illegal addition. Every single person on that block has an illegal addition. And the one that we had there, it wasn't like it was just built or, in fact, built by me at all. I purchased the property, and it was, and it owned it for a number of years, and that thing was probably by the owner before the owner before the owner. So you know how that goes. But when something's illegal, it's not grandfathered in. Clearly, there was a nightmare with that. The code compliance guy, actually, if you can believe this guy was trying to talk me into getting a variance. Okay, he was trying to talk me into paying $2,500 to get the thing, legalized. Okay. Ever since that point, by the way, that guy's out of there. 3 building inspectors have been fired. That whole system was corrupt. I'm not saying I had anything to do with that. It was just that system was corrupt. So, needless to say, I complied with all of them. I went through the hell of tearing that down, and I wasn't about to. The renters, they're going to pay the same thing whether that addition's there or not. It was just a little closed-in patio terrace. So I said, "Screw that! I am demolishing it." And I just got. It was a 30 by. It was about 270 square feet. And guess what? Sweetwater's not the one that assesses the property taxes. It's Dade County. So then I went to Dade County immediately upon getting the CO. Getting the final inspection, and I said, "Listen, I need this taken off my taxes." And sure enough, guess what? He was trying to get more money for the city, and more money and more money and more money, and he accomplished the complete opposite. Now, was I happy? Yeah, in the end, I had no issues, and that building was certified completely legal and under building code and all that. 2 months later, I sold it for more money than I would have if it wasn't. And that's when the whole thing started with moving to up there, because I'm not about to purchase another piece of real estate in this place. I'm not very happy with this place. So there's my little story in a nutshell. And today, folks, I think we'll probably be taking off early. I'll probably be at 10 minutes at 9 o'clock. I'll be calling it a night. I'm gonna finish doing what I'm doing here. So, for those of you that are interested in my progress up there, and I'm not going to mention much, but I have again, while I'm not going to be purchasing any landscaping, I've already switched gears into building mode, and I've already started and gotten approval on certain. Uh, I've already got certain go aheads, and I'm working on some more to break ground 2 months sooner than expected. So, and at a much higher cost. But well, you know, they forced my hand. I don't know. I gotta. Hey Al, good to see you. Good to see you. I am so happy I did too as well. So Al, when I get up there, oh Al, before I forget, I need to get if you can get me that number, I'd appreciate it. I have to see that guy as soon as possible. The architect up there. I've got. I've already got three different. Uh, I'll tell you all about it. In fact, I'll call you in about. If you can call me in about 10 minutes after I finish here, I'll chat with you about it. But I got. I have one architect that's in the high range. I've got another architect that's in the extremely low range, which is great, except I got to do everything myself. That's the one I would have used originally, except I got to do everything myself, and it's it's well, I'll tell you all about it. But both of them obviously lead certified, qualified, et cetera, et cetera. Um, but uh, neither of them are local, and rather hire somebody local if I can, somebody that knows the area and is familiar with the process. I mean, the process is no different from Miami, but from what I've seen already, it's just they're all very nice. They're all very helpful. Very helpful. I've already talked to Mr. Dennis. I've talked to Emily. I've talked to a number of people at the building and zoning departments, and everybody's extremely serviceable. I'm going to go there in person because uh, well, it is. I don't want to say anything bad about the new place in which I am moving, but over here, that's one thing that you guys should always remember when it comes to differences between big cities and small towns or small cities, big counties and small counties. I'll put it that way. A big county like Miami-Dade, digitize everything, send it in 2 days. You've got either your permit or obviously you're obviously you got to pay for the permit, so your fees, and then you get your permit immediately, or you get reasons why it's not good. You can always do a walkthrough, but everybody pulls a permit online. I mean, within 2 days. Small county, I guess they're swamped, and and I gotta say, I guess there is a lot of growth in that particular county. Well, there's a lot of growth in Miami. There always has been. Um, and they're always tearing down something and bringing it new, and I can't stand that either. I like to keep the longevity. The history's all gone, but anyway, over there, it seems I'm getting the impression that if I file, because I have already filed, if I file by electronically, uh, they give preference to people walking in. So I'll just walk in. It's that simple. I don't know why. If it were if it were me, I would think it would be natural to give people preference when they first come first serve. It's the people that walked in. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to do it, but put them on a list. But it doesn't happen that way. So, and I understand that. So I value my time, and I will take my time, and I will give them my time and go over there. I value their time as well. It's a beautiful thing. But anyway, speaking of time, I value your time. So, guys, I'm going to call it a night. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you tomorrow on the wonderful Dave Gatton Show, Saturday nights. And, well, see you then. Don't know what's in store, but have a wonderful week, everyone.